What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Coffee with Dudes pod with Alex and myself. Today, we're going to be diving into the top 3 tips, regardless of your age, circumstance, experience level, on how you can stay stronger and build strength and really just stay overall fit, man. So, Alex, how we doing, bud?
Great, man. Great. This is fun. I love that we had a string of time where we couldn't really meet as much. So it's good
Yeah,
to
yeah,
get back on the pod here and chat and catch up. And
yeah, man.
it's funny because like in a month we're going to be seeing in person for the second time
That's
ever.
right. Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Kind of hilarious because we've like talked just about every week for
That's crazy to think about.
years. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like,
I remember the first time I saw it because I had only seen you on online maybe for a handful of months leading up until we went to that event, and I saw you. And of course, like I know the face, right? But then like I saw you in person, I was like, holy shit, this guy's giant! Like this guy's a big dude, you know? Like how tall are you? 6'6" or 6'5" or
six
six
five.
five? Yeah. It's hard to tell on video, right? Like, and
You
then
can never tell, right? It's
you
like
can
anybody.
never
You
tell.
watch movies, right? You
Yeah,
watch movies and stuff of people, and you would never know how tall they are in
never,
a
dude.
movie. And some people, I mean, they say Tom Cruise is like 5'5" or something like that, isn't he?
Yeah, it's crazy, dude.
Yeah,
It was insane. I remember, and I remember seeing other people too at that same event, and just thinking like the opposite of like, whoa, I thought they'd be way taller, and like they were super short, you know. So that always throws me off, man. We have a in person company meeting here in like 2 weeks where we're flying to Atlanta. We have a company meetup in Atlanta, and I wish they didn't tell me this already because it would have been, again, it would have threw me for a loop. But one of our head of sales guy is like, he's a 7 footer. He's like 7 feet tall,
oh
and
wow.
he looks tall on video, but I would have never guessed that, you know. So I would have seen him in person. I would be like, holy cow, dude, you know. So, but I already have it in my head now that he's
Now
seven
you
feet
know he's
tall.
in a tower over it. Yeah, but
Yeah,
that'd
exactly.
be they shouldn't have done that. They should have
Right.
just
Yeah.
to figure
Yeah.
it out yourself.
Exactly. They broke the silence on that one, but anyways, yeah, man, let's dive into it. I think a couple different cool key points that I think will be really beneficial for people is we'll go over three, we'll pick our top three. I guess we can come together and pick them together and go, okay, what are our top 3 rules for getting stronger at any age? Like timeless strength tips, and then specifics that we would give to like somebody, let's say like early teens to like 20s, maybe like 30s to 50s, and then like 50 plus,
Yeah.
we'll kind of break those up. So let's start with the first one. What are some timeless, if you can think of anything that comes to mind, like what's a timeless principle that regardless of those age groups, that as far as strength tips are concerned?
I think what you let me know if you think this is a good one too. Tracking your workouts, right, so that you can
Yeah.
progressively overload. I think that is a huge, huge thing because a lot of times, what you see anybody who's gone to a gym long enough, you see those people that they do the same weights every single week. And
Yep.
it's like they do the same thing and they look the same every single week because, there's one thing. I mean, if you're not trying to get stronger or whatever, you're just trying to like maintain that's one thing. But, for in the name of strength and building strength, you want to be increasing your weights, right? And at a certain point, you're just not going to make like much progress at all because your body gets more efficient with doing that same weight, and so it's not going to burn as much calories or like give you as much benefits of it as well. So it's that's the one that popped into my mind first. What do you think about that one?
Yeah, I think that's phenomenal. That's great. I think if you're just going through the motions, checking the boxes, regardless of your age, and you're thinking that you're going to get stronger and you're going to get in better shape, and you're just, it's like those people that justify that they go to the gym and they just showed up so they can just kind of eat whatever they want, right? Like I think there's crutches and things that people can use to their disadvantage here. Whereas like if you go with that approach and you're tracking at least anyway, whether it's digitally, whether you're writing it down in a journal, but like just don't go in there and do the same movements and the same weights every single.
Yeah.
Is it better than nothing? Of course. But if you actually want to build true strength, you want to progress, like you talked about the progressive overload, absolutely have some sort of awareness of tracking your weights and your logging, and trying to get a little bit better, if not every session, every other, or week in, week out. Like, you know what I mean? I think that's a phenomenal one. There's
Yeah.
a couple that come to mind. I'm trying to narrow them down, but I think another one would be
And
instead of
one thing
what's that?
that one thing to just quickly add to that last thing is like a lot of times when we think of progressive overload, so it's obviously it's not just getting more weight, it could be getting more reps too. And so keep that in mind for folks too. Just because you didn't go up in weight, if you did 6 reps last week and you did 8 this week, that's progressively overloading. So just it doesn't have to be defined by just one thing. There's a lot of different things. Maybe you did a harder movement, or you paused this week at the bottom and pushed up. Like there's a lot of different ways to also do that.
Yeah. I
Sorry.
would say, regardless of your age, too, you need to make sure that your programming and the program that you choose to do is something that you can show up consistently for. So if it's something that is like super hard, super intense, hard to sustain, like it might look cool on the surface, but once you get past that honeymoon phase and you can't sustain the intensity in that kind of workout, like I would encourage you to pick something that you feel good about that you're going to. You should never be leaving your workout like feeling absolutely obliterated and smoked and like
Yeah.
laying in a pool of sweat. So if you're trying to build strength, like you want to allow yourself to feel good. One of the big things that not enough people talk about is the recovery aspect of it. So in addition to choosing the correct program, I think you need to be able to sprinkle in strategically where you're going to recover, because that's where the real strength is made. That's where your muscle is going to repair itself. The recovery aspect of it gets so overlooked. So I think picking a program that first and foremost you can stick to consistently, whatever that is. Um, just like Alex said, make sure that you're progressively overloaded means you have to track and log, right? Or have some sort of consciousness and awareness around what you're doing and trying to better that. And then I would say just make sure that whatever you're picking, you can show up consistently for, and you're strategic with prioritizing rest no matter what. It's not like 7 days a week. It's not go, go, go as hard as I possibly can. You'll notice that after a certain amount of time, you might be able to do that for a little bit, but your ability to sustain that's going to drop off drastically. And so, if we are talking about staying fit, staying healthy, building strength specifically, you need to be able to strategically rest. Rest doesn't mean you're soft. Rest doesn't mean, you're weak and that you're not pushing hard enough. Like rest is super, super important. So I would encourage people to fall in love with rest. If you're somebody that goes hard in the gym, go just as hard in the rest portion of it as well, too. So strategically recover.
Yeah. And I couldn't agree more with those. I think those are really, really good. And a story on that as well, especially on the recovery side of things. I think we both did this before where I thought that more was more, right? And it
Mm-hmm.
was like if I did more, I was going to get more results. And I was working out just about every single day, sometimes 2 a days, trying to like push as hard as I possibly can. And at a certain point, like I started regressing. Like it's like my
Mm-hmm.
body, I just
Yeah.
wasn't recovering.
Yeah.
And I went kind of on the other side of it. I ended up going to 3 days a week full body exercises. And it was crazy how quickly my results like just skyrocketed on the strength side of things.
Yep.
Just like hit like building my work, going from some of these like huge PRs that I would hit because I was doing a good amount in the gym, but I was also allowing my body to recover from all of that stuff that I was doing for the first time ever. And so
Yeah.
that's kind of a story there
Yeah.
to just drive that home as well. And so did you want to so that's kind of the timeless, like the three
Yeah.
timeless ones. I think those are three really good ones.
Let's
They're
let's
probably
do
not
the youngsters first, like young
youngsters.
people. What
Yeah.
would be your number one tip for them? Like, let's just pick one tip for each age group. I think would be good. Maybe we can each pick a tip here too, or like, let's
Okay.
do that.
Let's do that. Yeah, because like I mean, I think a lot of this stuff it is all like relevant. So maybe like one extra tip for each age group because
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
really all those things are. It really is a great set of three that will benefit anybody in
No
the
matter
gym.
what. Yeah,
One thing like for the younger folks, I would say like compound movements is
yeah,
a huge thing that I would personally say. Using the back squat, the bench press, the overhead shoulder press, the rows, barbell row, like all those things are going to hit more than one muscle. I think that those main like 4 or 5 lifts are just they're going to get you so much more benefit all around
yeah,
than doing some of the small shit that a lot of people do in the gym. Not that machines are bad, but like some of these like using the hamstring curl machine instead of, doing RDLs where you're really hitting like the whole posterior chain. Like a lot of this stuff is going to, I think, benefit people a little bit more.
Yeah. I would say, yep, that's great. I would say in addition to that, making sure that we talked about rest a lot, and it is important for every single age group. But I think if you are going to go hard in any one of these stages, the early stages is the time to do it. Of course, make sure you move with fundamentally sound form and technique, etc. But if you are going to lift heavy, you are going to focus on building strength and getting as strong as possible in those earlier ages, higher levels of growth hormone, probably the highest levels of testosterone, right? Like that's like your peak stage right there. So be able to take advantage of that stuff and build yourself safely, of course, but build a strong, solid foundation for the years to come so that you can continuously build on that. You have set the foundation, the baseline structure for yourself to be able to have success long term. And I think people who just engage in strength training at a young age, I think you're leaps and bounds ahead of most people, right? That don't start until later or unfortunately never start at all. So I think being able, if you are going to go hard in any of these stages and you're going to focus on lifting heavy and getting stronger and like, going for it, like those early ages, I think is the ones to take advantage of. Absolutely. And when I say early, I'm talking about like teens into, let's say like early 20s, like in that range, I think is huge to capitalize on. And then you get into like 25, 30, 35-ish range, it changes a little bit. And then you start getting in early 40s and 50 plus, it's a different ball game too, right? So I think that early stage is like super important. Um, yes, of course, nutrition is always going to be super important when it comes to strength at all of the stages, but you can get away with a lot more when you're younger. You're going to be burning more calories. Like use some of the crap food that you would eat just calorically to get strong as hell in the gym. And like I'm not saying nutrition's not important by any means, but if you're going to slack off a little bit and you have that go 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 mentality, it's best to do it on the earliest stage. Like do that up front, and it's tough to do later. Is what I'm saying.
And I would say too, it's like you gain such a base at a young age. Like
Yeah.
I even think about now, just from the base that I had from playing athletics and
Yep.
lifting from, in high school and in college. Like I can go away from like leg workouts for a while and then come back to them, and it's like throwing up huge weight, like
Yeah,
just
crush. Yeah,
hard
you
work.
could crush it.
Where it's
And
like, oh, I did
you're not
RDLs for a
thinking
month.
about like, oh, today I need to make sure that I put my feet in the right position and I need to step underneath the bar this way. And it's like, dude, you have such a good foundation from doing it so many reps for years and years and years. It's like that skill that it's like riding a bike, right? Like that's what we're talking about with the foundational piece. It's so
Yeah.
important.
And so, what's the next age group that you'd say like
Let's just say like 30s to 50s, I guess. Like we can
30s to
kind of,
50s?
yeah, like, yeah, we'll say 30s to 50s. I think 30s to 50s, I would think that you have to put a little bit more emphasis on the nutritional piece. I would say nutrition and sleep are going to be big contributors. Of course, these are going to be important at all three stages, but I think the group that needs to put even more emphasis on that to start seeing like the results that they're anticipating and wanting to see is your ability to sleep and deal with stressors in life. And that's like that heavy career like work age too, right? Like so being able to manage stress is super important. um, Prioritizing protein from a nutritional standpoint, quality foods, and getting sleep. Those things like go work together cohesively if the goal is to continue to build strength, get stronger, and just be fundamentally healthy. So
Yeah, I think that's really good. And what stands out to me too in this period of time, it's like the heavy, you know, work. Like you're kind of in your years of really probably doing a lot of work and grinding a
yep.
little bit
Hmm.
in that sense. And so that like kind of just meeting yourself where you're at in the gym too, I think is a huge thing there, and not trying to overdo it. Like kind of sticking to, if that's like 3 days a week, like sticking to those 3 days and like being disciplined with that is going to help you too, as far as like, and just outside of the gym.
Definitely, dude. What do you think for the oldest group. I mean, again, we're like very condensing this and we're broad generalization, but let's just call it, you know, 50 plus. We'll say that age 50 plus.
50 plus. I mean, I would say it's just the big thing would just be to like move every day and like
Yeah,
it stands out to me as like protein too. I know like as you get older, we need more protein, and I think a lot of people struggle with that. And so like just on like the overall health and strength side of things, like say for that side of people, it's like just focus on you're probably going to want to start doing like stuff that's a little bit more like be safe too. Like at a certain age, you want to do stuff that's going to get you strong and keep you strong, but you don't want to do anything crazy, right? You want to
agreed,
make sure
agreed.
like the bare minimum walking, you're doing like you could maybe get a little bit more benefit from some of the machines in this
Hmm.
like especially as you get up there a little bit more, machine leg press, like stuff that's going to really like force you to have good form is something that stands out to me as well. And I
Yeah,
know that
like put them on a fixed plane of motion, right? Like they don't necessarily like the freestanding stuff and free weights is great if you have the ability to do that, awesome. But don't feel like if you can't do that, that you don't have an alternative option. The machines are great options. And to your point, it's just like at that point, you just need to be consistent in doing something, right? Like you got to get your movement in, and it's imperative for longevity at that point, especially as we continue to age. And it's just like if we want to stick around for a long time, we need to be able to continue to keep our body pliable. We got to increase our blood flow daily. Like we have to do things that are going to keep us moving consistently. That doesn't mean crushing super hard workouts. That doesn't mean lifting with it, like sickening amount of intensity. Like none of that stuff. It's just making sure that you can move on a consistent basis and you can stay in rhythm with it, and it becomes important to you. It becomes part of your lifestyle because you will start to see the benefits of the people who are around your age that don't do it. That's where it really starts to get exposed. And then the ones that do, like you said, you're like, I get exposed to certain groups and types and ages of people at work, and you can tell the ones that take care of themselves and they move their body and they're consistent, they throw you off when they tell you their age, right? And then other ones you're just like, holy cow, I know they don't do anything, they're struggling to stand up right now. Like, you see somebody their age that looks 20 years younger because they chose to move actively. I think it just comes down to just exactly like you said, it's movement at that point. And then if movement, something like walking is so simple for you, I think just progressing based on where your skill level's at, how early you started, where's your foundation, how strong is your base built, right? Like if you're more advanced and you need to do some resistance training, absolutely, let's do it. But if you just need to get your body moving, then maybe start there.
yeah, I like it. Well, this is fun. It's always good popping on here. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. All we ask is that if you did enjoy it, just send it to a friend. This is a good one for any age. Somebody can help somebody start doing the right things in the gym. Maybe change what they're doing in the gym or with their nutrition to help move them forward for longevity and true strength. So thanks again, everybody, for watching and listening every week. We drop them every Tuesday, Thursday, Spotify, Apple, YouTube. So you can go there to find it. But hope you guys have a good rest of the day, good rest of the week. We'll be talking to you soon.